Let me tell you something. He just proved he is, he's a large man. He's always, we've always talked about it. When you stand next to Francis, he's bigger than 6'4". Okay. He's about 6'6", and he is got long arms. He is a fucking just Adonis god as far as he has no body fat on him. And I'll tell you what, I was so impressed because I thought he was getting a little tired there, the couple of rounds. And the next round he'd come out and he would be throwing. And I'm like, God damn, I'll tell you what, super impressive because and it was one of the things that we had talked about is, man, he's going to be burning energy just because it's just the atmosphere and who he's fighting. And it's impossible not to. God damn, he had gas, man. He went, and I know he was tired, but so was Fury, and dude, to go those 10 rounds, just freaking remarkable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think when I look back at how it all came about with him in terms of leaving, people doubting him, and then him just patiently making deals on the side with the PFL deal, then inking this deal, and then people saying it's just a money grab. And like you said, in which it is a money grab, but in some ways, reality of it is, in some ways it is. But in the reality of it all is that he didn't look at it like I think a lot of the MMA fighters that leave MMA organizations to go and do, whether it's boxing or whatever, but bare knuckle boxing, whatever it is to make that next step level of money for them. Yeah. They usually go there to say, hey, this is a money grab. It's the most I've ever made. Doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter. I've done everything I've already done in my career. They have looked at it that way. Whereas he didn't look at it. It didn't seem like he looked at it that way. He took it as, if I do well in this fight, and like I said, and I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit here, is I told everybody, I said, look, in the reality of this fight happening, he possesses the power. If he drops Tyson Fury, it changes his life forever.
Yep.
Changes.
You did say that.
And that's, look, I didn't say whether he would win. I was like, it's a tough climb no matter what I'm winning. Yeah. Okay. But I said in the first 3 rounds, which luckily, people got to stop sleeping on my predictions here. I said he's got up until the 3 rounds to get him out of there, which in the 3rd round, he drops him. And then as the fight goes on, I agreed with you. You texted me and you said, hey, I believe it looks like he's getting tired. And I said, yeah, he was breathing out of the mouth. I watched him walk back to the corner. His mouth was wide open. But then in the 7th, 8th round, he kind of perked back up a little bit.
Which tells you he was in shape. He was ready to go.
Yeah. And look, what it is also too is we're used to 5 minutes straight with a minute rest or a minute 15 after the time we get back in the cage and get going. This is very similar to that. They get their minute, but then also too is that it's every 3 minutes. So there's that 2 extra minutes. It's like that 2 extra pounds of cutting weight, and it kills you. That extra 2 minutes in an MMA fight, that's the part you're like, damn man, isn't this thing over already? But here he got a minute break every time, and he was in shape. He was ready to go. Well, I will say this though, is where I was wrong was I thought after the 3rd, 4th round that Tyson would start picking him apart, start snapping the jab in his face, start making it look like target practice. That was 1. 2 is I also want to give, and I don't know if he deserves this. I believe he does. Coaching him is Mike Tyson. I thought if Ngannou was going to have a chance, he was going to have to hit him with some big shots, but he'd have to barrage on him. He'd have to come at him hard with 4 and 5 punch combinations to try to get one in there that would land and put him down. He didn't do that. He stayed on the outside. He picked up, kind of just parried away his jabs, kind of just waited for his moment, and he threw 2, sometimes 3s, and he landed those shots.
But he used an old Mike Tyson trick. He did. You remember?
Explain to me.
Tyson used to frame. He would take an arm and he would frame it against his opponent.
Oh yeah,
and push and either come over the top or come up with an uppercut. And you watch Ngannou, he did it multiple times. And I was like, all right, there you go, man. You learn something. And you're right. I give credit to Mike Tyson. I give credit to Dewey Cooper. I give credit to Eric Nixick. These guys all worked with him. They all believed in him. They all went there saying, hey, man, we're here to win. And you listen to Dewey Cooper when he was going against John Fury in the mouthing of the media. And, it's like, oh, you're going to know who I am and stuff, right? And it's like, because you say, my guy's going to beat your guy. And it's like, they believed. And God damn it. I wish I believed more. My whole thing was I didn't want to see Francis get hurt. I didn't want to see him get knocked out. And that was a big thing. if he lost, I didn't know, I expected him to lose. I'll tell you what, I'd have to go back. I've only watched it, live the one time, but I had it so close. And okay, I'm okay if you go 95-94 for Fury, and I'm okay if you go 95-94 for Ngannou. The one judge, get the fuck out of here. How you gave him all but 2 rounds. Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay. Or whatever. 97, 93 or something like what it was.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It was something like that. Yeah.
But I think look at this is going to change the landscape because everything we have when it comes to boxing and MMA is most of the time old guys or guys that are, out of their prime or things like that. You got 2 guys here, both of them in their prime.
Mm-hmm.
And they went at it and you had the result you had and stuff. And, Francis Ngannou, you put one on the board for MMA with that performance because you did it against a guy that no one thought you'd be able to do that with. God damn. I love you. Big balls, brother. Way to go.
No, I agree. But I guess there's so many different directions I want to go in this conversation, John, because there's a lot more to talk about.
Oh, yes, there is.
So there's the point where, look, we want to make sure that Francis gets all the props. Look, going out on a limb, leaving the UFC, getting his deal done with the PFL, and then also too banking on himself.
Give it to the PFL.
You have to give it to the PFL.
They believed in him. They let him do it. They knew this is not a good thing for us. If he goes out there and gets starched, but you know what they said? Hey, we believe in you. Good for them. Way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, and they were willing to take the chance. Yep. Look, he came up short. I mean, but I also look at the way you were talking about the judge's decision. The judge's decision. I said, I had it leaning a little bit more towards Francis, but I'm also not mad that it went that it went the other way.
I'm biased.
Yeah, that's true.
Normally I always root for Tyson Fury, but
no, you are biased.
Yeah. Well, in that one, I definitely was. I was going for Francis, so I'm like, I can see why. Maybe I didn't look it around right or something like that, but it was close. It was super.
No,
close.
It was close.
And let's be honest. And here's where I really lean towards Francis is. Who was the guy that was going forward in that fight? And because look at ring generalship is part of boxing. It's not like ring control in MMA. Totally different. Ring generalship in boxing is, do you control where the fight takes place? Well, who controlled where the fight took place most of the time?
Yeah, that was Francis.
It was Francis. Take a look at their faces after the fight. How many marks do you see on Francis? And he even got hit. Look, he even got hit with elbows.
Yeah, that was nasty in round 6.
That was a good elbow. Not a mark.
That's some gypsy shit there.
No, that's just not a mark. And look at Tyson. He had marks all over his face. He had lumps and bumps. I'm just saying that if you look at it, Francis landed the harder shots throughout the fight. Volume-wise, it was close. So it's not like you can sit there and say, oh, but the volume overtook it. No, it did not.
No.
It did not.